Hi, welcome to our channel of IGNOU Audio Books, Indira Gandhi National Open University, School of Vocational Education and Training, SOVET, Diploma in Business Process Outsourcing Finance and Accounting, DBPOFA, Revised, BPOI 103 Procure to Pay, P2P, Accounts Payable, Unit 13 Overview of Travel and Expense Process, 13.0 Objectives. The objective of this unit is to help the learners learn an overview of the travel and expense (TE) process, the significance of the TE process for a business, and how TE process is delivered in an outsourced scenario. 13.1 Introduction. Travel and expense is the process of settling or reimbursing business travel, expenses and other related expenses incurred by employees. In an organization, it is an integral part of the roles of some employees to travel, entertain clients, and incur other kinds of business expenses. These expenses need to be accounted for and approved by senior management to ensure that they are incurred as per the company's policy. Occasionally, some expenses may also be incurred by people who may not be employees but are working closely with the organization. For example, candidates called for interview, consultants based in a particular location may have to travel to meet the management in some other location. Trainers may have to travel to provide training to the employees of the client organization at some other location. Other professional service providers like lawyers, tax advisors, etc. traveling on behalf of the client from one location to another. Some examples of expenses covered by the travel and expense process are travel, hotel stay, taxi fare, parking, highway tolls, dining and entertaining clients, company, sponsored team events, books, periodicals, telephone, etc. In many organizations, the TE process is also outsourced along with the P2P processes since it also involves payments. In P2P process, claims made by the external vendors are processed for payment, whereas in TE the claims made towards travel and other expenses made by the organization employees or non-employees are processed for payment. Due to this similarity, TE process is also outsourced like P2P process. In this unit, we will learn about the TE process and how it works, its importance to an organization, and how companies control TE expenses by means of policies and procedures. 13.2 Importance of TE to business. In today's business world, executives, especially those in management positions, in the sales and field service functions, need to travel extensively to achieve their assigned goals. From the organization's perspective, a good TE policy and process ensures that legitimate travel expenses are provided for and unreasonable or extravagant expenditure is discouraged. This assumes greater significance when an organization is not in a sound financial situation. Employees are the key stakeholder in the TE process. They want the settlement of TE expenses to be smooth and simple. Also, when the employees have incurred expenses out of their own pockets, they are keen to be reimbursed for that in a timely manner. For an outsourcing team, not processing the TE claims on time results in 1. Dissatisfied employees. Employee satisfaction and morale are adversely affected in the client organization, and employees become reluctant to incur such expenses in future even when the business operations of the company require them to travel. 2. Failure on service level agreements. When the claims are not processed in time, the service levels agreed with the client are violated. This may result in the loss of the client's confidence, loss of business, and penalties on the outsourcing service provider. 3. Management escalations. The employees of the client who are not paid on time may escalate these matters to the senior management of the client organization. This puts the client in an embarrassing situation. At the same time, it is also imperative that the TE process has adequate checks and controls in place. If the process is not properly controlled, then some employees may make fraudulent claims resulting in a direct loss to the business. TE expenditure is considered a discretionary and controllable expense by organizations. and hence the need to have STR 6NG controls over these expenses. The expenses over which the management team of a business has the flexibility to increase or decrease are termed discretionary expenses. Example, advertising and training. Controllable expenses are those expenses that can be controlled by a department's head. TE expenses are considered discretionary and controllable because the head of the department can choose not to incur these expenses. TE expenses come under scrutiny when companies face adverse circumstances and need to control costs. Examples would be period of slow business growth, lower profitability, lower sales, etc. In contrast, the expenses which are not a part of this category are expenses which a management does not have the flexibility to change easily. Example, raw material expenses, employee salary expenses, etc. 13.3 TE policies controls. TE controls are built into two documents called the organization's TE policy and the authorization matrix. The specifics of these documents vary from company to company depending on the nature of business, nature of employees, and the financial strength of the business. However, there are many commonalities in the TE policies across organizations. These are detailed in the following paragraphs. TE policy. The areas that are usually defined by the organization are A. Eligibility. The set of employees who can incur these expenses on behalf of the organization is defined. For example, as per an organization's policy, client entertainment expenses can only be incurred by employees in the sales department or by an employee of the designation of vice president and above. B. Permitted expenses and limits. The set of expenses that are permitted are defined along with the limits of expenditure based on the level of employees. For example, in an organization, employees up to manager level are B. eligible to travel by train, and those all employees at levels higher than manager may be eligible for air travel. In case an employee below the manager level has to travel by air, then it is treated as an exception to the policy. This exception will need to be approved by an employee at a level specified in the organization's policy or above by explaining the circumstances under which it was necessary to incur this extra expense. C. Authorization for approval. The employees who are authorized to approve expenses are defined along with the extent of expenses that they can approve. For example, in the organization mentioned above, an employee at level senior manager can approve expenditure relating to outstation travel up to the limit of $1,500. Any expenses incurred that are higher than that need to be approved by an employee of level vice president or above. An authorization matrix indicates the designations of the managers within the company who have been authorized to approve various expenses. E.g., local travel by taxi can be authorized by an employee at level manager. Any travel outside the city needs to be approved by the head of the department. Implementation of TE policy and authorization matrix. These policies are formally documented and are communicated to all employees in an organization. Any changes made are similarly communicated. This communication is important as the employee should know about their eligibility, the expenses that they are permitted to incur, and the authorized limits on these expenses. Written policies and authorization matrix are also important when the TE process is outsourced, as the outsourcing teams will need to refer to these policies while evaluating the reimbursement claims. Any changes to the policy or authorization matrix should also be immediately communicated to the outsourced teams by the client. Points when the TE policy is referred to in the TE process. When an employee undertakes a business travel or incurs a TE expense, he has to first verify that it is within the norms set by the policy. Thereafter, he will have to take pre-travel authorization, if required by the policy, from the concerned approving authority. Once the travel is over and the employee returns to the base location, he files the expense report to claim the reimbursement. The team supporting the TE process. verifies that the expenses are as per the eligibility of the employee and those they have been approved by the appropriate authority. If the above rules are violated, then the claim is not settled and returned back to the employee. The employee is asked to get the proper approval or an exception approval and resubmit the claim. The expense report is verified again and only when it is found to be in order is it sent for payment. 13.4 Steps in TE process. The TE expenses can be pre-approved, approved before they are incurred, or post-approved, approved after they are incurred. Pre-approved TE process. Employee seeks pre-approval, employee incurs expense. Employee submits claim, claim is processed, employee is paid. The steps are as follows. 1. The employee applies for an approval for a certain expense or travel request, e.g. the employee applies for a travel request to travel on company's business to another city. 2. The expense travel request is approved or rejected. If it is rejected, then the employee does not travel or incur the expenditure. 3. If the expense travel request is approved, then the employee contacts the travel desk of the company, makes reservations for travel, or the employee himself incurs the expenditure and pays from his own pocket. 4. In case some advance payment has been requested, it is paid to the employee. 5. Once the expense has been made and paid for by the employee or the travel over, he can claim the expense back from the company by submitting the expense report and proof of expense. 6. The expense report is verified by the TE desk. In case the expense report is incomplete or improperly authorized or beyond the eligibility of the employee, it is returned to him to resubmit after getting the complete documents, permission or exception approval respectively. 7. In case the expense report is approved, the claim is approved for payment. The final payment is made to the employee after adjusting for any advance payment made earlier. Some organizations have a policy of reimbursing travel expenses on the basis of actual expenses, while others use a per diem basis. When claims are made on actual expenses, then the employee can claim the actual expenses incurred on that category of expense. Usually there is a limit or cap to the amount that can be claimed. Also, the employee will have to submit original receipts as proof that the expense was actually incurred, e.g. one company's TE policy allowed employees to claim meals on actual expenses basis, subject to a limit of 150 rupees per meal. Under a per diem policy, the employee is allowed to claim a flat amount on certain type of expenses for each day spent on travel. Under this method, the employee need not submit original receipts as proof that the expense was incurred. Per diem in Latin mean per day. For example, a company's TE policy allowed employees to claim 400 rupees a day as per diem while traveling. This was supposed to cover small expenses like meals, tips and telephone calls. So an employee traveling for 3 days can claim 400 rupees x 3 is equal to RZL 200 under this expense heading. Per diem policies help simplify the TE both for employees to understand their eligibility and for the TE team in processing their TE claims. Post-approved TE expense, employee incurs expense, employee submits claim for approval, claim is processed, employee is paid. For a situation where the expense is not pre-approved, i.e., the expense is incurred first and then approved and claimed, the process is described below. This kind of expense is usually incurred when the amount of expense is small, e.g. taking a taxi to visit a client's office within the same city. 1. The employee incurs the expense out of his own pocket. 2. After the expense has been paid for and the service is received, the employee submits an expense report for approval to his manager. The proof of expenses, like bills and receipts, are attached to the expense report. 3. The manager approves the expense. 4. The employee then submits the expense report to the TE desk to claim reimbursement. 5. The expense report is verified by the TE desk. In case the expense report is incomplete or improperly authorized or beyond the eligibility of the employee, it is returned to him to resubmit after getting the complete documents, permission or exception approval respectively. 6. In case the expense report is approved, the claim is approved for payment and settlement. 7. The payment is made to the employee. In an outsourcing situation, usually the verification and payment stages of the cycle are outsourced to a third party and the outsourcing service provider agrees to certain service levels of operation, e.g., all claims will be taken up for processing within 3 business days of submission or the employees will be paid within 10 business days of making the claim if the claim is properly authorized and no additional approvals documentation is required. In such a case, the employee submits the claim along with the papers relating to the expense report, e.g., the receipts and the paper claim form. All these papers are approved by the employee's manager and sent to a central location, usually PO box. The team that receives the paper documents sorts, scans and indexes the documents and uploads these into the document management system. The document management system is accessed by the team providing the verification services, the outsourced team. The scanned documents are compared against the claim submitted and the date of the expense and nature of expense are verified. The amount spent and amount claimed are compared against the employee's eligibility. The approver's ID is compared against the authorization matrix. If the claim is found to be valid in all the respects, then it is cleared for payment. These days, a lot of companies have the TE process implemented through an IT application on the company intranet. Employees can submit the claim electronically through such an application. On submission, the application generates a claim ticket number which must be used as a reference for future transactions and enquiries. The claim can also be approved by the authorized approver electronically. The paper documents, bills, receipts, etc. are sent to the PO box along with the claim ticket number quoted on them. The papers are scanned and sent to the verification team. Employee submits claim on the IT application. Gets a ticket hash. Claim is approved electronically by authorized employee. The paper copy of the claim with receipts is sent to PO box. Claim form with receipts are scanned to claim verification team. Claim verification team processes claim. Payment is made to the employee. The advantages of using an IT application for managing the TE process are as follows. 1. It increases employee productivity as it is a faster method of submission and approval compared to paper documents. 2. The transaction processing and recording in the ERP is easier. 3. The employee can access the application directly to inquire about the status of the claim rather than making calls to the TE team. 4. The payment and settlement cycle time also gets reduced. This enables quicker reimbursement to the employees and hence greater employee satisfaction. 5. The IT application can be programmed by the company to follow certain rules, thus ensuring that the process is followed. E.g., 1. The company has a policy that the TE claim must be submitted within 30 days of completing a trip. The TE IT application automatically checked and compared the date of claim submission and dates of expenses from the expense report. In case the claim was being submitted late, then the application would not entertain the claim till an exception approval was taken by the employee from his manager. 6. Auditing and quality checks controls on the process are easier. 7. An IT application can also provide expense reports which can help the management analyze the nature of expenses and the reasons for travel. This can help them to formulate policies and budgets which will result in better control of expenses. It can also help them negotiate for better discounts from service providers like hotel chains, car rental companies, airlines, etc. 8. Payment process into the employee's bank account can also be automated. 13.5 Summary. Many employees incur travel and related expenses while carrying out business activities for their employer. These expenses should be reimbursed to the employees in a transparent and timely manner. The process of approving such expenses and then reimbursing these to the employees is the TE process. Companies have a documented TE policy which lays out the eligibility, permitted expenses and limits on expenses and the authorized employees to approve such expenses. TE expenses can be pre-approved or post-approved. The post-approved expenses are usually smaller in nature. The employee incurs the expense and submits the claim for reimbursement in the form of an expense report. The claim is also supported with receipts for the expense made. The team that manages the TE process checks the validity of the claim against employee eligibility and the receipts. The approval is checked against the authorization matrix, whether the manager who approved the expense is authorized to do so. If the claim is found to be valid, the money is paid back to the employee. If the TE process is not managed properly, the employees may not be reimbursed in time, which may lead to employee dissatisfaction, client escalations, penalties, and loss of business. Thank you for watching. We will see you in the next video with the next chapter.